What's going on? I feel like when it comes to traveling, there's two kinds of people in this world. Those who hate packing, having to make a lot of decisions and worrying that they're not going to take enough, end up overpacking. And then people like myself that find packing to be one of the most deeply satisfying aspects of a trip itself. There's like an art to not underpacking, not overpacking, being very precise in the decisions that you make, trying to balance minimalism on one end and comfort on the other. But just, I don't know, when you're at the airport gliding through security like a swift ninja, you get to your destination and you're already, like 1 week into the trip, you have a really good grasp of how well you packed. And to me, that now I have kids, that puzzle that I'm trying to solve for each trip has gotten more challenging, but it's even more rewarding when done correctly. So on this video, I'll share what I consider to be my essentials when I travel. These are the things that I don't really have to think twice about. They're just coming with me pretty much on every trip. Now, because I'm mainly traveling with my wife and 2 little kids, what this video is not is like a 1 bag, hyper minimalist, ultra light packing list. The kinds of travel that we're doing, most of the places that we're going, don't involve like a lot of public transportation, lugging stuff through cobblestones, get to an airport, take an Uber or have a car rented to take us where we're going. So for me, I don't know if it's just getting older, but comfort has become so important. So even with a super dialed in 1 bagging setup, I know for a lot of people, there's something very liberating about not having a suitcase, right? Like you can just go wherever you want. I don't know. I love getting to the airport, sliding my backpack on top of the suitcase, and then just exerting as little effort as possible, especially as I'm trying to like wrestle with a couple kids. So keep that in mind as I'm sharing just like my overall setup. Secondly, worthwhile calling out, there's definitely things on this video that have been gifted to me by brands that I collaborate with in exchange for my honest opinions on them. If you've seen any of my other videos, I am a very, very meticulous human being, and I am extra meticulous when it comes to products that I'm traveling with. I'm not gonna compromise there. So anything that I've included in this video, and I've omitted so many things that I travel with as well. So I try to pack it down into products that I think are worthwhile talking about. I wouldn't recommend any of these unless I would spend my own money on them. So anyways, with that being said, let's get into it. I'm gonna break it down into a few different sections. I'll start off with toiletry stuff, move my way into tech, and I'll get into like carry products, like the bags and vessels in which I'm storing all of my things. And lastly, a little bonus chapter for any like dads or moms out there. I'll throw a few of like my essentials for traveling with kids that have been game changers for me. So starting off with toiletries, the toiletry bag that I've been using is Peak Design's small wash pouch. When they originally came out with the wash pouch, man, this was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It's been out for a long time, but this is the wash pouch that I used for a long time. Now my wife uses it. I love it. It's like everything else, Peak Design, delightfully overbuilt, over-engineered, crazy amount of organization. But just over time, I felt like it was just like really too bulky for what I was actually carrying, but I spent enough money on it that I didn't want to justify like replacing it. If you carry a lot of stuff, the big one is really good, but this is a perfect size. A few things that I really enjoy about it. Number one, just the materials and overall build quality from Peak Design. It's just really satisfying to interact with this wash pouch. I love that, like a lot of other wash pouches, it stands on its own, but one thing that's been particularly useful is this hook. There's a lot of toiletry bags that have a hook as well, but the whole entire organizational layout for them is really geared around you hanging it on something, and things are more easily accessible when it's hanging up. But what I found is that very oftentimes the hotel or Airbnb that I'm staying at doesn't really have an ideal place for you to hook it where it's convenient close to the sink. So probably like 70% of the time, it's standing like that. And, you know, here and there's places where I like it like this, but I like having that flexibility. Beyond that, something that is pretty unique to Peak Design is this accordion style organizer system. One of the big reasons why I love their tech pouch, the small version specifically, which has pretty much a similar layout as this, or just using different materials for things like this. And there's a few like toiletry specific things on the wash pouch, like that hook, as well as this really nice magnetic toothbrush holder. And while I feel like this is gonna be maybe a little too heavy and overkill for a lot of people, for me, it sparks joy when I use it, and I really like having a dedicated place for each of my things. I'm not gonna show you every single thing that's in my toiletry bag, but I'll focus on really the essentials. But yeah, first and foremost, electric toothbrush. This is the Suri toothbrush. They are based out of the UK. They've been around, I think, for like 4 years or so. I'm in a stage of my life where, candidly, I wish I would have just been paying closer attention to all aspects of health earlier on. Not that I'm a health freak, but I've always had like recession, my lower gums. And I know that I am a lazy person when it comes to brushing my teeth, and electric toothbrushes help make up for that. Why I love this toothbrush in particular is because it is incredibly compact and it charges via USB-C. Not to mention the fact that so much of this brand's mission is around sustainability. The materials that they're using for the whole entire construction come from renewable, sustainably produced materials. My wife has one as well, just so you can see it in a different color, but the battery lasts forever. So if you're going on a trip that's like less than 2-3 weeks, you don't even need to worry about charging it. This will last you like a month without charging, which is crazy for how small it is. I did a lot of research. I know that if you get like a high-end Philips Sonicare or a very high-end Oral-B in terms of like full-on performance, those are gonna edge the Suri. But for me, I don't mind sacrificing a little bit of the performance side to get something that's as compact as this, because those are much bulkier. The other thing that's really nice, it comes with a charger that you can just like stand it on, but again, you barely charge it. But they also have a charging case. I throw this in the suitcase because it's just like too bulky for my toiletry bag. But when you push this button, when it's plugged in, it has a UV light that sterilizes it while it charges via USB-C. So if you want it like really protected, this is a good place for it. But if not, I just remove the head and I just put it in the little toothbrush compartment in the toiletry kit. Also for home, it comes with a little like mirror mount, and it just attaches via a magnet, which is really nice. Next, you gotta have the Matador in there. I feel like everyone has this on their list, and I was always like, just like, is it a gimmick? But what I've realized I really value about this is that I'm the kind of person that when my car gas gauge is like at less than half, I already start getting anxiety. And a similar thing happens to me with toothpaste. So yeah, I don't know if it happens to you, but just like when you have something like this, right, in your bag, that you've got like 20% of the whole entire tube left, and you're not gonna throw it away. You don't wanna put in a new toothpaste. You can always buy toothpaste at your destination, but it's like, you don't wanna have to worry about that, right? So instead of dealing with this, you just refill it. And so like ahead of a trip, just topping it off and just knowing that you are set gives me a lot of peace of mind. It comes with a bigger one that has like a 2-week capacity and then a smaller one. So I actually just put facial moisturizer in this one. 37 years old, you got to start taking care of your skin, ladies and gentlemen. And then beyond that, I mean, those are the main things. One other thing, I included this in like an EDC video, but this thing is an absolute tank. This is the Porsche of nail clippers. It's a brand called Mr. Green. They're made out of Germany. It's like a $12 nail clipper, which is pretty expensive for a nail clipper. I feel like nail clippers are kind of like pens in the sense that if you have like a shitty, cheap pen, you're probably gonna lose it. But once you spend a certain amount of money on that pen, you're gonna like make sure that you don't lose it. Same thing with this nail clipper. They used to be disposable for me and I was constantly replacing them, but now I know exactly where this thing is at all times. If you have really thick fingernails where traditional nail clippers struggle cutting through them, yeah, these are fantastic. This is the medium size, by the way. They have a few others. One last call out is if you're looking into getting this and you're trying to decide on the colors, the 200D Versa-Shell, like proprietary Peak Design material that they're using in the shell, I've noticed that on the black version, which is solution dyed, the material has like less structure to it. It's more malleable, it's softer, which I do like, to be honest, because it compresses more easily into your bag. But on the flip side, the reason why I didn't get it in black again is because since this is near a sink where it's constantly getting water on it, the black one just scuffs up more easily, and from water and other things, you get a lot of like white scuff marks on it. So with this one, you don't deal with that. So reason to go with like the sage green or the blue. Moving on to tech. I'm gonna start with like the true essentials and then a few things that I've been dabbling with lately that I would say maybe they're not like absolute essentials, but I've really enjoyed having them and have been packing them on most recent trips. So for essentials, this guy has become my go-to charger. I previously will still have like an Anker MagGo magnetic charger, which is really nice because it's super compact. It attaches to your phone so you can keep using it. I've just found that it charges significantly slower than something with a cable. And secondly, my phone gets, maybe it's just like an iPhone 15 Pro thing, but it just gets really hot. So it becomes pretty much unusable when I have that on there. But this is the Anker Nano 3-in-1 charger. It has a 10K milliamp capacity, charges your phone really fast. You can charge pretty much like 2 phones from empty to full on one charge with this. When you turn it on, it tells you exactly how much battery you have percentage-wise on it. But my favorite things about it are the fact that when I pack this, I don't have to worry about having a dedicated cable for it or using my main cable for it. It has a built-in USB-C cable. As you can see, it like loops around, so you can just kind of like hold it like this. It really is my only nitpick with it, that I wish it just retracted into it or tucked away. It has the built-in prongs, so you don't need a separate charging brick for it. You just plug it in. It ends up being a little heavier, a little bulkier than some other options, but given how practical having everything in one place and how quickly it charges has just made it my go-to charger. Now, the other mobile charging solution, which I need to get it right now, it's like literally charging my camera right now. This is the Anker 165 watt laptop power bank. The build quality is really impressive on this thing. In a similar vein to the 3-in-1 Nano, I really like that it has the integrated USB-C cables. It actually has 2 of them. One of them, and one of the biggest selling points for me, is it has this retractable one that goes pretty long way. So whether you're charging it or charging something else, like I just had it charging my camera, and then it retracts and it has a little magnet, so it keeps it nice and tidy. And then you get an additional one, so you can be charging a couple things at once. Because of the weight and overall bulk factor, this is really a practical solution if you are like me and you work remotely, right? And you want to have the flexibility of being able to charge your laptop without having to be near an outlet, whether that's at an airport or coffee shop or wherever it is that you want to be working. And it's not just that, it's charging that simultaneously with a few other things. When you're charging things, it also tells you the wattage consumption for that specific channel of what you're charging. And then you get this like super nice display where you can cycle through and see wattage, temperature, how many times you've cycled the battery, the overall battery health, and also tells you when you're charging it, exactly how much time until it's gonna be fully charged. But beyond traveling, like if you're going camping, something along those lines, going on a rafting trip this weekend, taking this guy for sure, and we'll report back, see how well it does charging, speaker, and all the stuff that is coming along with me on the trip. Then the last thing on the Anker lineup is just their 100-watt Anker Prime GAN charger. And this is like my go-to cube for everything when I travel. Instead of taking a couple different bricks, this one has 2 USB-C cables and then a USB one. Really, everything I use now is USB-C, with the exception of my AirPod Maxes. And even for that, I use like a Lightning to USB-C charger adapter now, which is great. It doesn't charge as fast, but I don't have to worry about carrying a Lightning cable. I can charge my laptop, tablet, everything with this guy. Other than that, like just classic Apple stuff, so I won't really get into it, but over-the-ear headphones like AirPod Maxes keep you from going crazy with either your own kids crying on the plane or other kids crying. iPad, beyond just downloading entertainment and having it on a flight, one of the things I really love about having an iPad when I'm traveling is I'm a monitor freak. Like, I feel rendered useless when I don't have a monitor. I've actually been meaning to get one of those like actual like proper travel monitors. But in the meantime, since I have an Apple laptop, if you haven't like done this already, but there's like a sidecar mode where you can just put the tablet next to it and you're essentially, you can either mirror the display or extend it, so it works as like an additional monitor. Now for the slightly less essential, but these have been big value adds for me recently, are one, these Woobin G5 flashlights. They're like as compact as a lighter, takes up virtually no space. It has a magnet on it as well as this little clip. So you have flexibility with whether you want to magnetize it to something or clip it onto something. And then it's got like 400 lumens, if I'm not mistaken. There's a little lock feature so it doesn't turn on the light accidentally. Charges via USB-C, like just, it's like a nice little fidget toy, to be honest. Everything about it is just a very delightful tactile experience. And then the light itself, you can rotate it up, back to you, blind your corneas. And then there's like just like a little knob on there so that you can adjust how bright you want it. Different lights, play around with your kids. Just a lot of fun packed into a really, really small, thoughtfully designed, well-made product. I feel like having kids, I'm using a flashlight so much more often where they're like sleeping, going into the room, like going to like do something, and I don't want to wake them up. And historically, like my phone has been my flashlight. I mapped the action button to my flashlight, so I use it way, way more. I'm also trying to like use my phone less. It's not easy. And just having this helps a lot. I don't personally do this, but comes with like a little O-ring and a few other like little accessories. But if you want to attach it to your keychain, that's another way to ensure that you're using it a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna give this guy away. This green one, if you're in the US, throw something in the comments. Let's say tiny light in the comments, and then at the end of the month I'll just pick out someone from there and I'll ship it out to you. This one has not been used. This is the one that I've been using. I have the box and everything. And then the other thing that's been not like a full-on essential, but just a really nice to have, especially right now, summertime, like smoldering heat. This is the Jisoo Life Ultra 2 handheld fan. I admit I have made fun of people that have used handheld fans for a long time, and I have been converted. It happened slowly. It started off with this guy that has kept me absolutely sane. This is also Jisoo Life. I included this in like my EDC video. It's like a portable bladeless neck fan that's like USB-C charged. And it looks like you're just wearing headphones. But the really nice thing about this is that you're not using your hands. They're just passively providing you with ventilation. And I would say this is still the one that I use more, but this one is just crazy powerful. Like when you turn it on, oh my God, that's literally at 2. Like that feels good. And that's at 2. It goes up to 100. Look at that. I feel like I'm under a turbine of an airplane. That's like really loud. Has like a nice little display, so it tells you like exactly at what speed it's at. The build quality is like crazy on this thing. Granted, it's not cheap. It's like 90 bucks, but it packs a ton of functionality in here beyond just, you know, fanning yourself, keeping yourself comfortable, keeping the kids comfortable. It comes with a couple different attachments and they're magnetic. So just really like enjoy doing that. I've been just keeping this thing in my car to keep me cool, you know, when I'm going somewhere. But this attachment is great, like filling up an air mattress, dusting your computer or in your car. I have a Kamado Joe, like a charcoal grill similar to the Big Green Egg, and this thing is like a dragon breather. It gets the coals so hot so quickly. And then you've got like another, let me turn the thing off so you can actually hear me. And it has another attachment. I don't even know when to use this one versus the other one. They're both great. So you've got that, and then beyond that, you get a flashlight with 4 different modes. It goes less bright, a little brighter, much brighter, and then there's like a strobing one if you want to piss off your wife in the middle of the night. So again, camping, there's like a 2-in-1, and then additionally, it charges via USB-C, but it's also a mobile battery bank. So you can charge your phone with it. So like summertime, like instead of carrying this guy around with me, like this is slightly bulkier, of course, but like throw this in my sling. I've got ventilation, flashlight in case I need it. And then I also have a mobile battery bank there as well. Now getting into the bags that I'm using to carry the stuff that I'm taking with me. Most essential one, Bellroy Venture Ready Sling. I can't shut up about this thing. I mean, people love it. People love it for a reason. Beta nylon feels amazing. There is a simplicity and perfect intuitive access to this sling. To me, it's the perfect pocket relief dump, especially when I'm traveling internationally. And I'm carrying the passports. For me, the kids oftentimes end up with physical boarding passes rather than throwing those things in my bag. And every time I need to access them, I love just having my sling on me. Passports go in here. They feel safe, easily accessible. Same with the boarding passes. And then I've got access to my key essentials. And then when I get to the destination, wherever I'm traveling to, there are a lot of times where I take a backpack with me, but there's also a lot of times where I don't, but I want to have additional organization, a place for my essentials, sunglasses, AirPods, things like that. And this is why, yeah, this always comes with me and I don't have to think very much about it because it takes up such little space when I need to pack it and not carry it with me in the airport. The Venture Sling comes in a 6-liter, a 9-liter, and a 10-liter camera specific version. But there's a few things that are so amazing in this that you don't get in those. One, you get like a rear concealed pocket, which is not like a super unique feature to Bellroy, but to me is like pretty much a must-have when it comes to slings, having that security. And then secondly, the way they treat the front quick access pocket, which is probably the one that I use the most. Just like this little gusseted partition split down the middle where you can put your smaller things. In the bigger version of those, the front access pocket is a lot tighter. You don't get as good of access. Bellroy just came out with their 5-liter transit sling. It's the first sling in their transit lineup. I've been using it a lot recently. I also did a video on it. Most of the stuff that I'll be talking about now, there's dedicated videos for that I'll include links for. But if you're the kind of person that wants a sling, not something that's huge, still compact, but you want to carry something like an iPad mini or a book or a Kindle, those are things that would not fit in here. And you get all of the organizational advantages of the 2.5-liter Venture Ready Sling now in a 5-liter size, which is super practical. So another option there as well. And then for tech pouches, this is the one that I continue to go back to, the Evergoods Cap 1. It doesn't like stand up like the Air Slim or the Peak Design tech pouch, or like most tech pouches stand, right? Similar to this, and there's a lot of value in just like plopping it on your desk or wherever you are, being able to snag your things. But to me, there's this little magnetic mechanism to open it and close it. You are a little bit more limited in the things that you can take in here. Like really, it thrives when you're not packing super bulky things. I found as long as I'm not packing my mouse in here, like my Logitech MX mouse, everything else that I want to carry is in here. A lot of the things that I carry in here, I've been showing in this video, which is why they're not, but just really simple organization. You can see inside where your things are, and just like getting in and out of it is a really joyful, satisfying experience for me. And I love their 420D like high tenacity nylon that they're using. It feels smooth, but also like rugged. Let's talk about packing cubes. This has been like my go-to. I feel like everyone talks about this thing, the Peak Design medium packing cube. I think a lot with packing cubes is having a versatile quiver for different things. But this is the one that, you know, throw all my t-shirts. Like it's got crazy expandability. When you expand it, you get this like really nice stretch mesh fabric there. So you can actually fit a ton of stuff with it. One thing that's unique to Peak Design that is also a cool feature is the fact that you can just like open it like that. You just pull on that tab and the zippers go out that way. But I'm gonna be doing a packing cube video. I think it's probably the one I'm doing after this one. We'll see. Coming soon, where I'm comparing a few of the premium packing cubes. But little spoiler alert, Bellroy just came out with their light packing cubes, which is this guy. And for me, it's not replaced, I'm still like using it, or my wife uses it, but I actually prefer it over the Peak Design. This is the 12-liter version. They have a 6 and a 4 as well. But one of the things I've run into with the Peak Design is that I find that the small is definitely like too small for my t-shirts, shorts, like the main things I'm packing in a packing cube. But the medium is like a little too big, especially like unless I'm packing for a very long trip. It feels like I'm not really using much of the compression. I don't even have to like unzip the compression strap, and it just feels like too wide. So there's like unused space. Whereas the Bellroy, I mean, this is empty, but you can just see like a lot of it is just the dimensions itself. But like with t-shirts and stuff like that, it feels like it is using a precise amount of space. A few other things I really like about it, you've got, you know, the same expandability that you get with this one, but you get mesh that gives you visibility into the packing cube, so you know what's in there. If you end up getting a couple of these, I think it's just really nice to just see like, okay, that's the one that keeps that versus another one. On the Peak Design one, you get like a zippered compartment where you could throw in your dirty stuff, which is great. I don't end up using it that much because I feel like I like to just like throw my dirty clothes in there. But yeah, if you're not refolding them, it ends up turning it into like a bulky ball. So here you technically don't get that, but you also, I mean, you kind of do, you could use it for that, but I think this is just if you want to throw other like smaller, slimmer things into that packing cube. Now, a few other packing cubes in the quiver that use different purposes. This is Bellroy's packing caddy. Now it has a zip down the middle, so it's not my favorite for packing clothes because the access is not as practical as what they came out with the light one. But I find that this one is actually a really good one to throw shoes into if you want like to keep your shoes from getting the rest of your stuff dirty. And then the other two that I'll show are, this is Aer's small one. Compared to Peak Design and Bellroy, the ripstop nylon that they're using has a little bit more structure. It's a little bit stiffer, but feels like really well made, like everything Aer. And I think this is like a really good one if you want to throw stuff like socks, underwear, things like that. With packing cubes, I feel like a lot of people think that they're saving space, and like not really. I think a lot of it is just, I mean, yes, depends on how you do it, but I think more than anything, it's just keeping things organized, segmented, getting to your destination, and like taking all of your things out and knowing exactly what's in each of those things. And then the last one, this is Peak Design's mesh packing cube. The sizing is a little crazy. It goes extra small, and small. And this is the extra small one, which still feels like oftentimes like too big for what I need. But this is a great alternative as well for socks and underwear. Typically when I'm packing in a suitcase, one that I'm using because it lets you kind of like fit it into tighter spaces depending on how you have your things. Stretch mesh feels great. And it's just like a really versatile packing cube that you can throw like all sorts of things into. Yeah, going on a pack rafting trip this weekend, I'm like, why am I not taking this? I feel like I could throw all my snacks in here. There's always a good use for these guys. Okay, suitcases. This is Bellroy's Transit Carry-On, their first suitcase ever. They absolutely crushed it in a world of polycarbonate hard shell spinners where it's kind of hard to do something where you're standing out. The market's gone really competitive. When you've got brands like Away and Monos and Base, etc. Not to mention Aer has a fantastic hard shell as well, but you're getting an incredibly well-made suitcase that's using Hinomoto wheels, like Japanese wheels that you're seeing in the most premium luggage. You're getting these super unique nylon textured woven grab handles that feel fantastic. You get this like haptic feedback when you're grabbing onto it. And if you think about a suitcase, really the main places that you're interacting with it are these grab handles and then the actual like telescopic handle. You're getting all that. Access to Bellroy's super tasteful colors, not just outside, but on the inside. You get this like slate blue. The Transit Carry-On, not the bigger version. This is their international carry-on. And honestly, like my philosophy when it comes to traveling is no matter how long of a trip I'm going on, like I don't really need to fit more than, I don't know, like 8-9 days worth of clothing. I'd rather just do laundry than taking 2 weeks worth of clothing. You get these integrated packing cubes that are modular. You can switch them around. They hook on to the actual suitcase. So it keeps things like from moving, super tidy. If you're carrying something a little bit more delicate that you don't want like moving around in here, it ensures that it stays secure. And these are packing cubes that are built with the exact dimensions of the suitcase, so you're making the most out of the space. And then the last thing that I really value in this suitcase that I think was a really thoughtful design choice by Bellroy is the fact that every component in this suitcase is replaceable. The wheels, the grab handles, the TSA lock, this aluminum grab handle, really everything minus the shell if it gets crushed. Here, something breaks, reach out to Bellroy. It has an 8-year warranty, and then they'll send you that part replacement. So instead of you having to be left without a suitcase, having to go to like the post office to ship it out to them, hope that it doesn't get lost, they send it out to you and everything just gets just like one tool that you would need to use to access any of these things. And it's very, very easy to do it yourself. But it's a good looking suitcase as well. Gotta give them that. Now, I've always been like very anti-checked luggage, but now with kids, things have changed a little bit. Wow, this thing takes up pretty much the whole entire frame. This is the Level 8 Voyager. My wife's family lives outside of the country. We go and stay like there for 1 month at a time. And it's like a whole voyage getting out there to the Dominican Republic. We have found that a system of me just taking a carry-on that has the heavier things in it and like the more valuable, important things that we definitely don't want lost potentially. And then we take a bigger checked luggage, which is mainly my wife's clothing and all of the kids' clothing. When you're at an airport and you have to take a stroller and your kids and all that stuff, you're just trying to minimize the amount of things that you have to grab with your own hands. So I've grown to really appreciate just getting to the airport, just dropping this off, and then all we're carrying are backpacks, sling, and stroller, and that's it. But yeah, this is the 28-inch version. Fits a crazy amount of stuff in here, and we got it for, it's like $300. Then like when you opt into their email program, you get like $30 off. I think it's an accessible price point for a suitcase of this size. I'm not one to spend a crazy amount of money on a suitcase that I know is going to be like tossed around by baggage claim. But really, like the thing that stood out to me the most about this suitcase is their unique grab handle that goes literally the whole entire width of the suitcase. Helps maximize storage space in the bottom, but especially with it being such a heavy suitcase, you get like really good leverage here. We were in Europe and there were a few times where we were like, you know, walking from hotel to the train station, things like that, where we were on the street and like, you know, going through a little bit of cobblestone, things like that. And this thing was an absolute tank. The only downside of this huge grab handle is that it doesn't serve as like a traditional luggage pass-through if you have a backpack with a strap, but I just found that if you tilt your bag sideways and just put the shoulder straps over it, then it essentially works as a luggage pass-through. And then the other thing is just having this grab handle in the front, something that I don't see super often, but is like really practical, just having one additional point, and it just like feels like super heavy duty as well. And then to wrap it off, just backpacks. Like this is a channel where I talk mostly about backpacks. Like that's the core thing that I'm reviewing. So it is a revolving door of bags, but really when it comes to traveling, what I value the most, beyond having something that of course has like great build quality and organizational layout that matches my preferred access style, is really something that is going to be very comfortable. And that's why to me, like Aer and Able Carry are two brands that I just go back to when it comes to that. Since when I'm traveling, more often than not, I'm with my wife. A system that I really like is having a more compact backpack like this, which is what I've been using, the Aer City Pack 2, not the Pro, in the Ultra material. And this is what I carry my tech essentials in the plane with me. And then it makes for a good day bag while we're out there. I know a lot of people like to just have one of these like super packable, ultra lightweight day bags. Those are great, they're super practical, but to me, like this is already a bag that's super comfortable. It's not super lightweight, but it's not super heavy either. But you know, something that stands on its own that I like genuinely enjoy using. It's not just one big dump pocket, just having organization for all of my things. It's important for me to have that clarity, I guess, when I'm traveling. So we'll do that, and then we'll do something bulkier like the Max EDC, which gives us flexibility when we're traveling. If I want a bag that's bigger because it's colder out and I'm carrying like layers for myself, the kids, or snacks, it's great. And also for the plane. Final section on the topic of kids, diaper bags. This is our go-to. This is Bellroy's 10-liter Venture Sling that's designed specifically for camera carry, which I also use to carry my camera, kind of like a hybrid, but it's also just become our dedicated diaper bag, and I've tried so many different diaper bags. I will say it is definitely on the expensive side for a diaper bag solution, but for 2 kids, carrying diapers, wipes, snacks, little layers, it has the perfect amount of room for that, even for like a little water bottle. And because it's designed for camera carry, you get these dividers where you can segment your things and keep them organized rather than just fiddling around trying to find whatever it is that you're looking for. Also, I found that in a sling mode, something that while we're traveling doesn't count as like a personal item. Makes it pretty convenient. And also the fact that when you've got your stroller, just being able to hang it off the stroller. I know a lot of these like diaper specific bags have like snap buttons where you can hook onto it, but you still have to like snap it on and then snap it off. It's just kind of a pain here. You just have to hang it right off of it. You don't even have to think about it as well. My parents had gifted us this like GB Pocket Air. It is crazy compact, packs down into nothing, but we found that you just don't get a lot of space for additional things when you're not on a very even surface. Yeah, I mean, the thing is sacrificing a lot of creature comforts for the sake of being really compact. We got this guy. This is the UPPAbaby Minu, like the newer version 3. And while it's definitely not as compact, assembling it and disassembling it is a one-handed operation. It's crazy easy to do. When we took it to Europe, it just performed super well with all the cobblestone streets that we're constantly taking it on. Thank God we didn't take the other stroller. It would have gotten absolutely wrecked. Our kids' necks would have probably snapped as well. And in terms of like the compact factor, the plane that we took on the way back was the smallest overhead compartment I've ever used, and this thing still fit in it. I know a lot of people check their strollers in at the entrance. If you get the UPPAbaby bag, it warranties it. But for me, I'm just like, I don't want to be in another country and have like one of these wheels break and then I have to like be stuck with it. You know, I'd rather just take it in the plane with me, throw it overhead. I'd rather put it above me and then just know that I don't have to worry about one of the baggage handlers, you know, like tossing it and breaking it. And other than that, best of luck. Cheers.